All right, everybody, what's up? We are here at Legacy Arena and about to go live for the Auburn Blitz on TV here in a few minutes. Faith, we're getting ready for the opening ceremonies here for the Alabama State games, and man, it's a massive production going on in here right now.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. A lot of people everywhere, and just there's a lot that's taking place.
There's a lot taking place, so we're excited to be here. So we'll start our show here in about 4 minutes, and yeah, I mean, going to have some athletes up here performing, and I think, what is it, 4,300 total that they've got coming in?
Yeah, it's the second
Wow,
most
it's
that they've
amazing.
had so far, I think, right?
Yeah, I think maybe since 2017, which was the largest. I believe that's
Yeah.
what Griff said. So
With like 47 or 49.
47, 4,700. So
47,
yeah, and so really kind of an explosion of athletes over the last couple of weeks. I think they almost doubled their number.
Mhm.
So it's really cool. So we're glad to be here doing our show, and then of course we're going to be filming our on the road show here in Birmingham. So we got a lot going on here today, but we're glad to be here at Legacy Arena, one of our partners on the HSA Radio Network, the Alabama State games. We promote this all year long. This is what they work all year to do. This particular event this weekend in June, and it's really a cool event. So tons and tons going on up here in the Birmingham area. So many different games. I can't remember what he said on the track and field side, but just a bunch.
700
Wow.
track kids coming, which I don't know how this room is going to be, or this arena is just going to be packed.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting here tonight. So we've never done an on the road show, obviously, with the Alabama State game. So we're excited to be here. So we're looking forward to it. A ton to talk about with Auburn, though. That's why we're here. And we'll get started here in a couple of minutes. But Faith, we were at the 7-on-7 yesterday. We'll talk about that. They've got 7-on-7 going on again today. Some really, really good schools that'll be competing. I know Thompson, speaking of Birmingham area, there'll be Thompson and Hoover there. So
yeah, big schools. Buford from Georgia is going to be there. I mean, yesterday was a lot of fun too. There were some of the smaller schools, but
right,
it was a great time and a lot.
But from in your neck of the woods over there in Georgia, had Carrollton there yesterday.
Not my neck of the
woods.
Well,
I'm just saying Georgia as a whole. Georgia's not really your neck of the woods, but your state where you're from. Carrollton really has a good history. That was pretty loud, wasn't it? That was very loud. Yeah, they're still getting everything ready here in Legacy Arena for tonight. The opening ceremony start at 7. So we'll be starting here for TV here in just a few minutes, maybe less than a minute now. So you hear a lot of work going on behind us. They're getting everything prepped up for that for tonight. It's going to be a big event. Legacy Arena going to be packed in here. Just with the athletes alone, you're going to have 4,400 people in here. So
see, that's what I'm saying. I don't know how there's going to be other people in here other than the athletes. I don't know.
We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully we will get some insight on that. And a lot of people putting a lot of time and effort into making sure this is a awesome event. And we're here for it.
Yeah.
So we're about 15 seconds out from starting for TV. So everybody hang on with us.
Yeah, they thought Lucy barking into the mic was loud.
Yes, has no idea. Exactly. All right, everybody, welcome in to the Auburn Blitz here on this Friday. Brett and Faith here live on location at Legacy Arena in Birmingham, Alabama, as we get ready for the Alabama State games. We're up here also with the Alabama High School Athletic Association. Just throw it on the ground. Metal and concrete mixes for a loud noise. So you're going to hear some of that today, but we are glad to be here on the floor at Legacy Arena, which here in a few hours is going to be full of athletes from all over the state of Alabama, 4,400 to be exact.
There's going to be a ton of people here. This is the second largest group that they've had in the state games. They had the largest one in 2017, you said. So this is just really exciting for them. And especially knowing that they doubled their numbers in the past couple of weeks before leading up to it is just awesome.
It is. So, but we're here on the Auburn Blitz, and our program is brought to you by Russell Do It Center and Building Supply Stores, J.A. Smith Construction and Excavation, and
Cincy Green for air that's cool and clean.
And the air's cool in here.
It is. It's nice.
It's
I
very,
might get a shiver in every once in a while. It's
yeah,
nice.
it is.
Really.
And so nice and comfortable in here. Just had a downpour outside. And
yeah, and you could hear it for sure.
Hitting the roof here at Legacy Arena. But Faith, here on the Auburn Blitz, huge week here for Auburn. You and I were over at the 7-on-7 yesterday. Some really fun games that went on. We were obviously there with Benjamin Russell and watching them, but Carrollton, Georgia, Pike Road, Buford's there today. Just a whole group. Auburn High School right there, obviously up the road. So we got to see a lot of top prospects perform, and Mary Montgomery won it, the big school side of things yesterday. So a lot of competition. Saw a lot of Auburn players there at the complex. Auburn coaches had a chance to really talk to Coach Davis for a while yesterday. Both of us did. So had a good conversation there. So you got a lot of big time visitors coming in this weekend that we're going to talk about. And again, had some midweek visitors. This is the last week for Auburn on OVs in this particular period. And so trying to make a final push here for some guys. And there'll be really one more week for other schools. And then you and I'll have a boatload of commitment dates coming up in the first week of July. You and I have been traveling all over the state and talking to some of these top prospects like Bodney Cleveland and Marquez Daniel and Jaquez Wilkes and Cedarian Morgan and all those guys that you've done interviews with so far. All going to be having their commitment date coming up here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast it's happening. But, yeah, I mean, we keep talking about, along with the actual commitment date, how important it is to maintain that commitment and maintaining the relationship if they don't commit to, Auburn right away or something. So something not to really worry about too much yet if things aren't looking the way that we kind of had hoped or those kind of things. So that's something that we've been talking about a lot recently. Yeah,
I think that's a perfect segue into this, because I think Auburn's in really good shape with a lot of these guys, but it's going to take throughout football season to really solidify some of these guys, whether they, like you said, commit now and we have to hold on to them and they have to watch and say, okay, Auburn really is taking that next step and winning games. Or on the flip side, if they don't commit to Auburn, how Auburn can stay in the game with them. And it's all about winning football games. That's really what it comes down to.
Right. It's about winning the football games and maintaining the relationships that you have, with these current players. And so I think it's just something that everybody's worried and worked up about because there's so many in this first week of July and it's coming up so fast, especially with, just all the last official visits happening and everything. And I just think that is something that people really need to take a step back and see that it's not the end of the world.
Definitely not. I mean, this is not the way recruiting used to be.
Right.
And used to May and June were just about as dead as a doornail. This was not when you were really talking about guys making official visits and all, but with the shift in the way things are done and the transfer portal era and all that, you're seeing a lot of these top prospects. I mean, we'll go down the top 10 again here in a little bit. I think all of them, pretty much, majority of them, I think, will have a commitment date coming up in July. So they'll have a university out there beside their name on some of these recruiting services. Now, again, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. I know we say that all the time. So whether they commit to your school or not, you got to do the things throughout the season to keep them in place. So Auburn's got a good group of commitments right now in the 26 class. I mean, outside of Southern Cal, that's got like 27 or 28 commitments. Everybody's kind of in the same boat right now.
And Auburn's got a great recruiting staff, and their coaches are also just really going above and beyond and making things happen and making sure that, all the right things are happening without losing their minds and everything. So I just think Auburn's been doing a great job in everything so far.
They are. I think you and I talked about it on the podcast this morning. Auburn has everything that you want. I mean, they've got the facilities, they've got the support, they've got the atmosphere on game days. You just got to win football games. You just got to get they've been able to recruit at a level with like their top 10, top 12 recruiting class year in and year out, even though they haven't been able to put out the results that, maybe Georgia and Alabama and some of these teams that we compete with on a yearly basis, our rivals have. And, you got to look at it, Faith, from this standpoint. What's an easier sell right now? Georgia and Alabama. I mean, they go in and go, look, we compete. We're in the playoffs every year. We win 10, 11 games a year. When you look at Auburn, they're going, hey, come help us get back to where we need to be. So there's a little bit more of a sales job. But when they get on campus, I mean, per player, we hear it all the time, is they love it here.
Auburn sells itself every time you walk on the campus. It doesn't matter. It's the most beautiful place in the world. And I just think that winning the football games is so important. But you talked about it this morning on the Alabama radio show, that the roster is there this season. The roster is there. And it is going to be about going and making plays to win the game. And there's just making plays on the field and off the field. Off the field being recruiting and everything and all those things. And I think Auburn has itself set up for success. It's just we have to put it through.
You don't want to put all the responsibility on one position, and it shouldn't go on one position. But we all know in football, the quarterback, when you do well, they get all the praise. And when you do bad, they get all the criticism. Mm-hmm. And when you look at Auburn successfully, going back over the last 10, 12 years, Jarrett Stidham in 2017 was really our last. 18 was a good year, but it was a little disappointing with him coming back as the quarterback. Mm-hmm. Maybe didn't meet expectations, but in 2017 had us in an SEC championship game, got him as a transfer. Thought he was the reason Gus Malzahn kept his job up until, he ended up parting ways with Auburn. If he doesn't go out and get Jarrett Stidham that year, I think Gus Malzahn's tenure's cut 2 or 3 years shorter than it even was. But he goes out and performs, and then you go recruit Bo Nix. And Bo Nix comes in, and, Bo Nix I watched him all throughout high school at Pinson Valley. He was the quarterback. He's a legacy. He was a freshman all-SEC guy, comes in, wins 9 games his first year at quarterback, and he kind of tailed off. And we know how all that went with Brian Harsin and all that kind of stuff. And then he ends up going to Oregon. But it comes down to quarterback play. And then you look at Peyton Thorne, it wasn't consistent the last 2 years.
We've lacked in the development process of the quarterbacks, and it's just shown for how long now, like you said with Bo. I think where it really was, okay, it was exposed. We were handed this quarterback who, again, was the quarterback, and he's a legacy at Auburn. His father, who, is big name, he doesn't get developed enough to go and actually perform well, where he has to go and transfer. And Auburn had his heart. Auburn.
He finished school there. He got his degree there.
Auburn's where he wanted to go. It was his dream school. And he had to take it upon himself and use the transfer portal in the right way of, okay, I'm not getting what I need from this.
Right.
I'm not being developed at all. I've got to go. And I think now we have to show that thing of we can develop quarterbacks, because quarterbacks should want to come to Auburn.
Absolutely. And you got, 3 guys in the quarterback room right now. One's a true freshman. The other 2 have experience. Jackson Arnold has been named the starting quarterback. I don't know why a story came out this week. And, we went through that, and everybody's like, well, Deuce Knight's not going to be the starter. Well, that was news back in May. I don't know why we're bringing that up like that was some breaking news, but Jackson Arnold really is coming to Auburn to get a brand new start. He freshman year, pretty good at Oklahoma. Last year, his offensive coordinator leaves, takes the job at Mississippi State. Mm-hmm. And now he, that kind of was the reason he got put on the bench. Now he comes to Auburn. All the talent, all of the potential is there. Then you got one of the super freshmen in the country in Deuce Knight last year's class that came in December as part of this team, and is very, very talented. And then Ashton Daniels. But like you said, the opportunities there to showcase that Auburn can build quarterbacks again. And you've got another one that you're looking at in state that you're going to sit down with on Monday in Landon Duckworth, which we all kind of thought Auburn was out of the mix with him. And now all of a sudden, instead of Ole Miss in South Carolina, it's Auburn in South Carolina. He came out and said, "Look, I'm down to 2 schools, and it's Auburn in South Carolina." So I'm excited to go and see that interview that you're going to have with him, because he's coming down the stretch on trying to make a decision between those 2 schools, and maybe we can get a little bit more information out of it on Monday.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Really, really want to just sit down and kind of hear where his head's at and how this process has gone for him. So I'm excited to just have that opportunity. And yeah, I think you're right.
EJ Kroll, you'll be sitting down with him too. He's got a commitment date coming up very soon. He'll have a commitment date coming up in, I think, June 25th or 6th. So you'll find out that for sure. I know he's already released that, but and then Kean, the wide receiver down there, just a phenomenal player. We've talked a lot about how good Jackson is and how dominant they were last year, and it's going to take somebody with a special effort to beat them this year with all that they have returning. But all right, we're up against our first break here for TV. On the Auburn Blitz. Again, we're live on location at Legacy Arena in Birmingham for the Alabama State games. Going to be a lot of people in here tonight for the opening ceremonies. We'll talk more about that when we come back. Stay tuned. More of the Auburn Blitz here on this Friday coming up right after this. All right. We're still up, everybody. Say hello to Sophie. There's Sophie. Sophie is going to be interning with us this fall. So this is her first opportunity. Today is her first day. So we're glad to have you, Sophie.
Well, I'm excited to be here. Thank y'all.
And Sophie's from the central part of Alabama, like literally the central part from Clanton.
County.
That's right.
Big Peach.
The home of Peach Park. All of you know about Peach Park that watch this. So, Faith, I know you're glad to have Sophie. She's going to be on the sideline with you this fall.
I am. I'm very excited. It's going to be a lot of fun, and just being able to cut it up with somebody when I'm down there by myself.
And shining the laser pointer up into the press box.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, Sophie, you didn't know this, but we get a little laser pointer for when we need to get up to the guys in the booth. So I'm going to
burn my eyeball out. So with a laser pointer.
Yeah.
Should be a lot of fun, everybody.
Something to look forward to.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Get your comments in, obviously, on YouTube and Facebook. If you'd like to comment away, we appreciate all of you that find us. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do that. We went over 8,000 this week.
We did. It's so exciting.
It is. I mean,
so thank you.
And appreciate all the kind comments, and we appreciate all the negative comments too. We like all of them. We're not perfect for sure, and but we try to bring you some really, really good information. We'll talk some about the 7-on-7 yesterday that we were at. The 7-on-7 going on right now at Auburn with a lot of really, really big schools. I know we just mentioned Thompson and Hoover and Buford, Georgia, which is a football factory there. Go down the list. I know Prattville's there. Just a lot going on over at the complex. So, yeah, we can. And then what else did you see yesterday, Faith? I mean, just how well organized it was, really kind of.
Yeah, I talked about that on the podcast this morning. Just the organization of everything going on. It really could have been a bunch of people running around looking like crazy.
Yes.
But I mean, seriously, the organization was outstanding. And I give credit to Auburn because they did a great job. And again, there were so many referees and officials.
I mean, it was like an officials convention for sure. So, yeah, Luke, Sedarian, we need that. And then EJ, so it is June 26th. I knew it was either the 25th or 26th. And then
because I said I wanted to get in there before he commits.
Right. And you're going to.
I know.
You're going to knock it out. So,
I know it.
So we'll talk about the top 10 here in the state. But we'll talk about the ones that'll be in today throughout the weekend for Auburn. And if you got a comment or anything, or we'll talk about what we saw yesterday. Live here at Legacy Arena. A lot quieter now than what it was about 15, 20 minutes ago. Good Lord.
I could not hear.
It was so loud in here but it's going to be some great great performances here on the floor tonight for opening ceremonies.
Oh. Ike Irish picks up second All-American honor.
There you go.
Good for
He's
him.
on it.
Do what?
He's on it.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's on it. After we talked yesterday, look what happened. 30 seconds. That just changed.
I know.
Like
From last night, 'cause I
know
looked.
it. That was our
Look,
conversation.
I haven't even.
Look at there.
Let's see if I refresh it and it doesn't. Oh. Mine still hasn't changed.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. 45 minutes left on the show today. We are on location at Legacy Arena in Birmingham for the Alabama State Games opening ceremonies. We're glad to have been invited to do our show here. Today is going to be 4,400 plus athletes here in this building a little bit later on this afternoon into the night when the opening ceremonies are going on. And you and I are filming our On the Road show while we're in Birmingham again. So we're going to have some really cool interviews with some of the athletes that will be participating this weekend. So a lot going on, and our show's always brought to you by Russell Dewitt Center and Building Supply Stores with 9 locations in Central Alabama for all your home building supply needs. Go check out one of their convenient 9 locations in Central Alabama. They got one over in Clanton too, by the way. So you got one over there. J.A. Smith Construction and Excavation. No job is too big or too small. They handle all your site prep work. So call on J.A. Smith Construction and Excavation and
Sensigreen for air that's cool and clean. Call on Sensigreen
saving people thousands
on the installation
Absolutely.
of a carrier unit.
Great units, long life, and save you a lot of money on your power bill. That's why they save you money even after you bought it. They just keep saving you money. All right, 7-on-7 yesterday. Let's talk about that a little bit. Mary Montgomery from Mobile won it. We got to see some really, really talented players yesterday. I'm going to start with Auburn High School, which is right down the road. Cason Myers transferred from Pike Road to Auburn High School, so it's really his first action with Auburn, and really excited to watch how he performed in that environment. Just a really, really, really calm, collected. Saw him a couple years ago actually in a playoff game when Pike Road came to Benjamin Russell, and he was a freshman and led them all the way to a semifinal matchup against Saraland. I got somebody sneaking up behind me back here. Former Auburn football player, Alvin Briggs. Oh my God. That's how you used to tackle all those guys when you played in Tennessee and Alabama and
I'll jump on their back.
Florida. This is an Auburn legend, everybody. Alvin Briggs. We're up live on Auburn Blitz right here, Alvin.
War Eagle.
There you go, War Eagle. Good to see you, my
Good
man.
to see you, brother.
We'll see you here in just a little bit.
Yes.
All right. Alvin Briggs grew up. I grew up pulling, I think I had your jersey. We sent you that. You said, I wore your jersey when I was a little kid.
Oh my gosh.
Love Alvin, man. Alvin, former executive director here
You
with
can
Alabama
make
High
those jokes.
I can. And
But I can't make them.
No,
to
you make them all the time, every day.
Okay.
So I get a shot every once in a while. So, but good to see Alvin here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love Alvin, part of a phenomenal secondary for Auburn back in the 80s, late 80s, man. And some really good, came across a game. I can't remember exactly which one it was, Faith. I think it was the Auburn-Florida game in 1987 or 86 one. But anyway, he had a really good game and made some really, really good plays in there. So might sneak an interview with him a little bit later on. Alvin's a great guy, great player. And then, of course, was associate director here for the Alabama High School Athletic Association for a while, and then was the executive director for 3 years. So before he ended up retiring, I think his wife made him retire. So
busy job.
very, very busy job. But
would you ever take it?
No, not at this point in
Good to
time.
hear.
Not at this point in time. So anyway, kind of getting back to what we were talking about, just a really good event yesterday. I was talking about Casey Myers. Didn't you think the same thing about him? Man, his development and how smooth he was delivering the football around the field.
Yeah, I mean, you only got 4 seconds to get the ball out of your hands before they consider it a sack. And I just think the way that he analyzes what's going on down the field is just – it's something that you can't coach. And I know we keep saying that, but there are so many talented kids, and he's just one of them, especially just the development that he's had.
No doubt about it. Another team that we watched, they got a kid going – actually, they got a lot of kids going different places, but the kid that we watched cover Cedarian Morgan in game one is going to go to Miami. Big, tall, really physical cornerback that I loved watching that matchup. Cedarian won several plays, and he won several plays. It's, you know, they're going to be competing on the highest level in college football next year. But Carrollton, Georgia, no shock. That's where Juju Lewis is from. Obviously, the top quarterback in last year's class ends up going to Colorado. Again, they just reload every year at Carrollton, Georgia.
I mean, that's the place where some kids from my high school would say, I'm going to go transfer to Carrollton. And you weren't going to go do that because you weren't going to go play over there. That just never ended up happening because that place is so good and they produce such prodigies there.
They do.
That's not where I come from.
So it was a really good game there against Ben Russell to start the tournament. So that was fun to watch. And I know we kind of drifted around. Moody was there, really good prospects on Moody's team.
Parker High School.
Parker, watched them in a really good matchup with Benjamin Russell yesterday. They won by a point right there at the very end. Ben Russell ran out of time trying to score on that last drive. But, you know, just a lot of great competition between great schools. And then I'm interested to hear, hopefully on Monday, Jason will be able to recap what's going on today. On the podcast. And Jason Caldwell, a good friend of ours over at 24/7, by the way, go and subscribe to 24/7 out there. Auburn Undercover, we got a chance to see Christian yesterday too. Those guys do such a great job of covering Auburn and giving you the inside scoop on some of that stuff. And we kind of call them an unofficial partner with us here on the Auburn Blitz because they're so gracious to jump on weekly really with us and kind of give some updates on some things. So glad to have him part of the program each and every week. But we're up against another break here on the show, but we are live on location here at Legacy Arena in Birmingham. And if you're asking why we are here, if you're just tuning in, the Alabama State games opening ceremonies are tonight. It's going to be packed in here. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a great environment. And we will actually live stream the opening ceremonies on the AHSA Radio Network Facebook page. So if you can't get to Birmingham and watch, you'll be able to tune us in right here on the AHSA Radio Network Facebook page. All right, up against another break. Stay tuned. More to come here on the Auburn Blitz right after this. What's up, guys? How are y'all? Hey, I'm Brett, by the way.
I'm Josie.
Josie, nice to meet you. Joseph, good to see you guys.
Faith. It's nice
You're from
to
Sylacauga.
Meet you. Yes.
Faith, nice
And you're
to
from
meet you.
Tallahassee. You're right there close to our neck of the woods. So, and this is Sophie. Sophie's
this is
intern.
Sophie.
So, all right, guys, what we're going to do, y'all going to be around for a little while?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go off at 1:00 and then we're going to do individual interviews with both of y'all, okay? If that's cool. So could y'all just come back like right at 1:00?
Yeah.
Is that good with y'all?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. We're going to set up a different deal. We're going to have a stand and we're going to do more of a one-on-one interview with each of you. Okay. Thank y'all so much.
Okay.
Hey, you did a
Welcome.
great job on stage, by the way, just a
Thank
minute
you.
ago.
I'm hoping it goes that way.
It was perfect. So they
Okay.
could have just filmed that and then played the replay, right?
Oh, gosh, no.
Got to do it live in front of everybody.
Yes.
Got to perform. Thank y'all so much. We'll see you guys here in just a little bit. Okay. Thank y'all. All right. Yeah, Jira Edwards, Luke. I know Luke's does Locked on Bama, part of our group, and Jira Edwards. A prediction came in yesterday, not good for us.
Yeah.
That he is leaning maybe to committing to Alabama. So Auburn's kind of got a pretty good pipeline going on from Maryland right now, and with Blake Woodby and some of the guys that are potentially going to commit. Jira Edwards, one of the top safeties in the country, obviously a 5-star. We'll see how that kind of goes down. We'll go back through the top 10. Like I said, Faith talked to a lot of these guys already: Cedarian Morgan, Tank Jones, Vodney Cleveland, Jaquez Wilkes, Marquez Daniel. And then we got Hezekiah Harris coming up in a couple weeks, Faith, right?
Yep, on the 23rd. So
20
so it'll be the 28th, I guess, when that comes out. So really excited about that. Talked to Coach today, and I'm just really excited to see how it goes.
Absolutely. So, looking forward to, getting close to finishing up that top 10.
Yeah, it's getting real close. I mean, let's be real. On Monday, I'm knocking 3 out.
Hey, that's one way to get a bunch done. Kean Chapman, Daniel Purder, you talked to him. I know he's down at 12 now. So we're getting to see a lot of guys. Shadarius Tootle was in the top 10 at one point in time. He's kind of been bumped down a little bit. This is a fluid list, but for the most part, these guys have kind of stayed. EJ Crowell has kind of dropped a little bit. He was 3, and now he's 7. Jaquez is at 6. Vodney has jumped from 8 to 4.
Yep.
The number 1 defensive lineman in the state of Alabama, one of the top prospects in the country there at his position, the 5th rated defensive tackle in the nation. So there at Parker High School, and his teammate Jordan Crawford. Boy, he's getting a lot of praise right now.
Yeah,
isn't he?
He is. Rightfully so, though.
Right. And then, they're going to change that. It's not between South Carolina and Ole Miss anymore. I mean, it is pretty much a 2-way battle between Auburn and South Carolina for Landon Duckworth. So a couple of weeks ago, we kind of thought that ship may have sailed a little bit. And then this week, the graphics come out, and he comes out and says, no, I'm down to South Carolina, Auburn. And just to remind everybody, he was committed to South Carolina at one point in time.
Yes, he was, and then decommitted, opened his recruitment back up, and now he's canceled his – what visit did he cancel? Was it his Ole Miss?
It was his Ole Miss visit. Yeah, he canceled 2 of them, I believe.
Was it Texas?
Maybe so. I remember flipping through. He'd canceled a couple.
Don't quote me on it.
Yep. Well, we see a bunch every day, and so it's easy to kind of get it mixed up. We got about 15 seconds. We'll be back with everybody on the TV side halfway through our program. We know what that means.
We do know what that means.
We do know what that means. So
Ooh.
I'm going to let you have it all right here.
Thanks.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz halfway through our program. Here we are on location at Legacy Arena. This is the most vacant I've ever seen it, because most of the time I'm in here, we're doing basketball games and it's packed and all this, but the calm before the storm, literally, because there's about to be 4,400 plus athletes in here tonight for the opening ceremonies, plus all of the spectators that'll be here. I'm kind of like you, Faith. Where's everybody going to sit? I don't know where everybody's going.
I don't know, but I mean, especially that part all being blocked off
right
there. So I don't know. Interested to see how it all goes, but I'm sure everybody's got their places where they need to be. And I don't know, somebody's got to keep everybody in check.
That's right.
So not our job, though.
No, it's not our job. Just a couple of years ago, Auburn played an NCAA tournament game on this floor. Alabama did as well here in Birmingham. Auburn played Iowa. They also played Houston and got knocked out of the tournament that year. Birmingham, with the newly renovated Legacy Arena, hosting more of those type events now. They have a boatload of concerts here year-round. So just a beautiful venue. We're glad to be here for the Alabama State Games opening ceremonies. Our program is brought to you by Russell Dewitt Center and Building Supply Stores, J.A. Smith Construction and Excavation,
and Sensagreen for air that's cool and clean. Call on Sensagreen. They'll save you thousands of dollars of the installation of the carrier unit.
And they'll have your air cool like it is here in Legacy Arena. And we're halfway through our program, which means it's time for
Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine. Guys, we know how much I love Pepper Tree. I was on the phone with Paula just the other day talking about when the next time we're going to be able to get over there. Kathy is in the middle of moving, getting all of her stuff. So she's going to be in Montgomery and, the newlyweds.
The newlyweds.
So
that's
really excited about that for her. But yeah, I'm really excited to go back to Pepper Tree. My parents actually are coming into town today, and we're going to be
that is the code word.
We're going to be celebrating Father's Day.
There
so
you go.
If anybody knows what that means,
You've already placed your order, I'm sure.
Woo, I'm so excited. My mom and I were talking about it yesterday, and I was like, all right, we got to talk about it because I cannot do this. So really excited to hopefully be eating some pepper tree steaks and some potatoes. Who knows? I don't know.
I'm sure you will. I can see the future, and the future has pepper tree steaks and wine, steak and potatoes and all
I'm
that.
getting hungry, don't.
All right, go check them out on East Glen in Auburn or in Pepper Tree in Montgomery. So great partners of ours here on the program. All right, the top 10 for the state of Alabama. We're talking a lot of recruiting. This is the last OV weekend for Auburn, headlined by the number one player in the state, Sadarian Morgan. They've now got that thing at a 50-50 split with Alabama there, and I truly think that's what it is. I think it really is going to boil down to the two in-state schools, although he has made visits to Colorado, Georgia, and Florida already. He's got two more this weekend with Auburn, and then up to Tuscaloosa for the final visit, and then he will make a commitment on July the 2nd in Alexander City at noon. So we'll be covering that, and again, whether he chooses Alabama or Auburn, it's still going to be a recruiting battle that goes on into the fall.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it never ends until your name is signed on the paper. So we talked to Coach Davis yesterday, and I think, Auburn's in a good position of whether or not, he signs on the 2nd, or if he does or doesn't. It's just, I think Auburn's in a good position.
They are.
I like to give Sadarian a hard time every time I see him. It doesn't matter what he was at Auburn yesterday, and I was still giving him a hard time. But I think Sadarian is a good kid and just has really good intentions in everything he does. So, Auburn's working hard on him, but I feel like
Alabama is too, yeah.
It's just a trust the process thing, and
just win, and I think it cures a lot of ills. You've already sat down and talked to St. Paul's star defensive end, edge rusher Anthony Tank Jones. That was a great interview. We'll see how that kind of all plays out. He's visited Auburn multiple times, but that one's long from being over. Landon Duckworth at number 3. You're going to talk to him on Monday, along with his teammate E.J. Kroll and Kean Chapman. And then there's another kid that we're going to interview down there too while we're there filming our show. But for the most part, going to knock out 3 or 4 there. You sat down with Jaquez Wilkes. Going to have Hezekiah Harris coming up in 2 weeks. The edge rusher from Mae Jemison High School in Huntsville, and then you sat down with Marquez Daniel a few weeks ago over at Booker T. Washington. And I think this is a kid that's really going under the radar for a lot of people. He's narrowed this down to Florida and Auburn a long time ago, and I think that's why you don't get a lot of buzz around him. But don't undersell a kid that's 6'5", 200 pounds. And you and I saw him up close and personal, and he's extremely fit. He's the guy that you want on your team, and the athleticism's off the chart. So as a very high 4-star guy that's right down the road, and Booker T. Washington's been putting out a lot of really good players. They've also got Dylan Purter that's committed to LSU, who you sat down and talked to as well. Auburn's got Joe Phillips on the roster. It was really a battle between Auburn and Georgia for him, and glad that we were able to land him. But Booker T. Washington's been putting out some really good talent the last few years.
Yeah, I was talking to Kingston yesterday, the quarterback at Ben Russell. He's 28?
Yes.
And they were talking about how they're going to Booker T for another tournament, and was talking to him about Marquez just because he knows him and personally, and just even talking to Kingston about him, saying how good of an athlete he is and how he's able to just make plays happen. And, Kingston's thrown to the number 1, number 2 wide receiver in the country, Sadarian Morgan. So the comparison between the two are just, they're both great players. Right. And he narrowed it down very early. He's got a former coach that's at Florida. So that's the tie and relationship there. So, he said he had a good time. A man of few words, said he had a good time at Auburn. So I don't know.
Speak softly and You know, let the actions do the talking. That's what that guy does. He doesn't say a lot, but when you look at his film, you don't need him to say anything. His play does all the talking that you need. But you know, again, with Auburn having such a loaded wide receiver room, we talk to coaches all the time. When other schools start saying, "Oh, you don't want to go there because they got too many players in that room," that's when you know you're where you want to be. When they start taking your strengths and using that against you, you want to go where, you know, there's a lot of potential talent and potential NFL talent. And boy, there's a boatload in the wide receiver room now at Auburn with Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton and Malcolm Simmons and some of the younger guys that are coming in. If you're those guys, if you're Tristan Keys, which I know it probably that ship sailed, but a Sadarian Morgan, Marquez Daniel, why wouldn't you want to come to Auburn right now? And if they have a great season this year, that'll just kind of be the icing on the cake for them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's goes back to winning the game.
Just go back to winning. That's what it is. So, all right, we're up against another break here for TV. Stay tuned. A couple more segments coming up right after this. All right, everybody. Let's see. Corey Barber's another kid that's committed to Ole Miss from up here in Birmingham, Spain Park.
I found the kid that I'm also interviewing.
Okay.
Jamarion Gordon.
Yeah.
Jamarion.
And he's ranked 22.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got four players in the top 25 in the state.
Crazy.
That's crazy at Jackson High School. So 4 players in the top 25. Good luck, everybody in 4A.
Yeah, that's cray.
Comments, anybody? Throw them our way if you got anything. Glad to be on we love our own location shoots. We're actually going to be shooting our on the road with the HSA Radio Network show while we're here. Going to be interviewing the top 2 scholar athletes here after this show. Looking forward to that, catching up with them, and going to be finding some other fun things to do here in the city of Birmingham. We're just here a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I told Brad, I said, I feel like we are always here. We need just a place to stay.
We just need a permanent hotel room up here somewhere.
It's cold.
I'd rather it be a little cool in here than burning up.
I told you that's why I was like, I always bring a sweatshirt. It doesn't matter how hot it is outside. It's freezing every time we go in somewhere.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah. I learned when we came here for basketball, and I was just dressed nice, and I was freezing. You remember that. I kept shivering the whole time.
Yep. You'll blink, we'll be back here for basketball, man. Everything just blows by. That is a fun week, but boy, it is a grueling week.
Yeah, it's a long week.
Monday through Saturday, all day long. Get an update on the U.S. Open. You know, Jackson Coyven yesterday was at 2 over and 33rd. He was only 6 strokes off the lead. So, kind of see where we are here today.
Did you see that?
I did yesterday. That's just crazy.
Last night.
See, Jackson tees off at 109. So here in just a few minutes. Yep, Ed, that is, look at there. On the move. There's the mascot.
My leopard. She's so cute.
Yep, Ed, Auburn merch hitting the shelves in July. Nike. It's crazy.
The big fat fine if you wear Under Armour.
Yeah, don't be wearing Under Armour anymore after the next few weeks. But Auburn going to Nike, I mean, that's big. That's a big deal. I mean,
what about our Final Four shirts?
Yes, I don't know. We can still wear them.
I know, but like, don't you feel kind of goofy?
Not really, because it says Final Four on there.
Yeah, but we lost, and there's that.
But you're there, though. I mean, the Final Four, I mean, I'm never going to get upset that – I mean, at the time I was mad, but, when you look back, you're like, the Final Four is pretty dang good.
Yeah, I'm okay that we didn't have to sit in the car for how long? How long?
It was going to be a long one. I mean, all y'all had to do was ride. I was going to have to be the one driving. I wouldn't heard anything complaining at anybody in that car.
No, I wouldn't have been awake. Come on.
You're going to be in the very back there, laid out, asleep. So
Lucy.
Was she going too?
She was supposed to.
I don't think she was going, was she?
Yes, she was.
In the car with everybody?
Yeah. Yes. It was supposed to be me, Reese, and Lucy in the back.
Okay.
Because we were going to get a Wagoneer.
I tried to get I actually had the
Wagoneer.
biggest car they had. And then, of course, we lost. It was – did it end up being an Expedition? I think it did.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because we didn't ride in that.
Well, we didn't have to worry about it because we lost. So
there you go.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. Couple of segments left here on the show today on this Friday. We are in Legacy Arena in Birmingham, Alabama. Tonight, the opening ceremonies for the Alabama State games will be taking place here. We got here just before 11 o'clock, and they were in here going through the practice and all for the ceremonies tonight. Some great performances we heard on stage. Pretty loud in here, but just an awesome job, and 4,400 athletes.
I was just going to say they're awarding over $400,000 in scholarships. That's what just came up on the screen that I was trying to read. Over $400,000 worth of scholarships this year with the 34 recipients, 34 something.
Yeah, we'll try to narrow that down. We're going to do a show on that here, on the road show with the AHSA. That's why we got our AHSA gear on here on the Auburn Blitz. Today we're doing double duty here. Ed just came up with a comment talking about the Nike merch. It's going to be hitting the shelves here in just a few weeks for Auburn. Auburn going to the swoosh now. The no Under Armour. That deal was signed back when Tommy Tuberville was the coach in the early 2000s, and when they left Russell. So I think that was around 2006 when Auburn signed with Under Armour. And so Auburn really, it was weird with Auburn going from Russell to Under Armour, because Russell had made Auburn uniforms really forever, and located right there in Alexander City, and with them shifting away from that. And then you felt like, man, Under Armour been part of that for a long time. And then the contract came up and they were looking at some things and decided to go with Nike. And so it's going to be interesting to see.
It is. It is going to be interesting, but I'm excited.
It's a big story.
I think a lot of people are really excited about, some of the gear that they're going to be getting.
Oh, I know
we've heard
right.
That. Yeah.
I know the players are, and I know the fans will be excited as well. So be on the lookout for that. Obviously, we'll be covering that as that hits the first weekend of July. So just be watching for that and how that comes out. All right, 7-on-7 recruiting. Some of the players that were in midweek this week, Faith, again, really Caden coming in was one of the top prospects on the list for Auburn in the midweek. Caden Prothro from Bowden, Georgia, 5-star. And Auburn's going to have to sign a tight end this year, if not two. You look at the tight end room, and it's really been a room that it's not been a terrible room, but Auburn really trying to go after one of the top-rated tight ends here in the country, and one being right there in your backyard in Bowden, Georgia. They're really putting a full court press on. I mean, I've even heard that he may be the top guy on the board in this class. That's how important he is to Auburn right now, priority-wise.
Yeah, I think he's clearly a very good athlete that's very talented. And, Georgia is really in the game trying to get them. And, you just see what Georgia's been able to do with their tight ends, and it's going to be a battle between the two. And, I hope that I like the way that he said that Auburn isn't all football when he went there. He was able to go there and actually have relationships and talk to people and see outside of football what Auburn can offer them. And I think that makes a huge impact on some of these guys. And so, I mean, I don't know if George is doing some of the same, but I think it's a great thing to have heard already from him after his midweek visit.
Right. And, I mean, the latest tight end over at Georgia, Brock Bowers, and having such a good, success in the NFL and how dominant he was. Man, he was pretty much the main target there forever for Georgia. So, and Auburn over the years have had really good tight ends. And so it's a position really that's kind of morphed into a hybrid position. You're starting to see guys that we talk about that may be undersized a little bit physically, but like height wise, they've got it 6'5", 6'6", but they may only weigh 210, 215 pounds.
Yeah, I think Auburn has struggled so much in that position just as of recently, where you've had Tate Johnson going and taking snaps at that position, and people talking about Perry going and taking some snaps at that position too. That I think to recruit somebody that is in that position, Brandon Frazier, who was injured, all of last season, it felt like,
and he's going to be the guy you look at this year to kind of lead the charge.
And we had Luke Deal, but I just don't think Auburn utilized that position nearly enough and didn't take it. Didn't recruit that position as well as a lot of other positions and a lot of other teams have. But yeah, I think this guy, Caden, is a great prospect that Auburn should really want to get.
And I think another thing about that position, Faith, is you want a guy that can do all. You want a versatile tight end, not one that you bring in that's a better blocker than catcher or vice versa, because you kind of tip your hat a little bit when you're running guys in and out. If a guy's got better hands, maybe not as good a blocker, well, he's probably going to be in there to run a route. If you get one guy that can, like Brock Bowers did it all. He was a great blocker. He's a great receiver, and he was on the field all the time. If you could get a guy like Caden Prothro, that kind of fits that bill.
It's also one of those positions that you have to have the IQ for football. Just you have to know what you're supposed to be doing, when you're supposed to be doing it, and how to accommodate to those certain situations. And so I think it's a hard position to recruit, but it's also something that Auburn needs to just take, I don't want to say take more seriously, but take more time into.
Well,
recruiting.
It's such a good position because it creates so many matchup problems for defenses. If you got a really elite tight end in your offense that you utilize, I mean, no linebacker's really going to be able to cover them, and you're so big that the mismatch in the secondary causes problems. So you're right. And then running plays, if you got a good blocking tight end, you got an extra blocker on the field.
Right.
So it really is such a huge position if you've got a good tight end. So, all right, we're up against the final segment here for TV. We will take our final break. Stay tuned. One final segment coming up right after this.
That fly is really just like throwing me off. Do you see it? It's on your drink.
Oh, God. It's like a gnat or something.
You want to kill it? Oh, I caught it.
Oh.
You got it. Like Mr. Miyagi style over there with the chopsticks.
I took a picture of what it said.
Oh, did it? What does it say? Yep.
Oh, what does it say? Was I wrong?
No.
There's 34 tonight that
totaling 42,000. Yeah. For over 400,000 has been awarded.
Oh, well, guys, don't listen to me.
But I mean, you were close.
I mean, awarded total.
You got the number right. That was huge. All right, guys, one final segment coming up. Jackson Coyven will be teeing off round 2 U.S. Open at 109. So just right after we go off, the Air had a really good first round there. Man, Oakmont is such a difficult course. If you saw the rough, I mean, when the leader is 4 under, that tells you how tough it is because these are the best in the world. And so the word on the street going into second round was it may be a little bit tougher today than it was yesterday. So we'll see how the scores play out. But Jackson Coyven just earning the #1 amateur title in the world. So being able to play in the U.S. Open and having himself right there in contention after day one, man, he's just got ice water in his veins, man. The moment's never too big for that kid.
No, and he steps up to play every single time. Steps up to the tee.
Steps up to he is on point. You're on a roll. We need to dive up there with a drum, put him boom up there.
I'm freezing.
Hey, Auburn basketball, the SEC ACC Challenge. Know who we're playing in that. If you didn't see that, we'll run that down.
What are you talking about?
The Auburn basketball.
Sorry, you don't like,
SEC. What did I say?
You don't like,
Well, I mean, not when somebody walks up to you when you ask them a question, go, huh? So, yeah, Auburn with a good opponent. It'll be at home. So we'll talk a little bit about that and who some of the other SEC teams are playing in that SEC ACC Challenge. 2 Final Four teams will be playing one another. They missed an opportunity. We'll talk about that when we come back. They missed a great opportunity to send a team to Auburn that would have been just rabid. We would have been there for that with bells on.
Oh, are you kidding?
You and everybody else. We would have.
We wouldn't have been there working that game. There's no way.
We probably had to be in the stands
Yeah.
as spectators for that one. Yep. I mean, who planned that? I mean, they missed the boat on some things. What they didn't miss is giving Duke another home game. Imagine that. I mean, good Lord, man. You know, is that where your mind went as soon as I said that?
Yep. Sure, why don't you tell everybody?
I will not.
Okay.
You want to tell them?
No? Are you kidding?
We'll leave that one for the group text. I mean, some pretty good matchups, some not so much, but we talk about every sport year round now, man. It's just crazy. College World Series starts today, by the way. We're supposed to be playing in 1 hour, or actually in a few minutes because it starts at 1 o'clock. All right, we got about 20 seconds, and we'll be back for our final segment here on TV. On location in Birmingham at Legacy Arena for the opening ceremonies of the Alabama State Games. Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz final segment here on location at Legacy Arena in Birmingham, Alabama, as we get ready for the opening ceremonies of the Alabama State Games. 4,400 plus athletes will be in this building here in a few hours. Lots of performances going on to the stage right in front of us. And you and I and Sophie over here, by the way, our intern. Glad to have Sophie with us now. She will be joining us here in the fall. And we're all trying to figure out how everybody's going to fit in this building, but they're going to figure it out.
Yeah, they are. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people here. I can't even imagine with the parents and everything, everyone that's going to be here.
The energy level, man, it's going to be off.
Hey, I mean, the energy level while they were practicing the performance of the singers, band, whatever, was great.
Right.
So I can't imagine with everybody else in here, it's going to be moving.
It is going to be. And then they're going to come out, and just like the Olympics, the athletes are going to come in and they're going to walk through. That's going to be cool for them. And then they're going to compete. You know, that competitive spirit, if you're an athlete, never really dies. I mean, when you get through high school and college, and then, you know, when it's, I guess, team sport stuff's officially over, you're still looking for ways to compete, and you have that kind of that fire burning inside of you. The Alabama State Games allows you to keep doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know that, and I never stopped competing.
So, I mean, yeah, we love pickup basketball and, you know, baseball games and stuff like that, and flag football, all that kind of stuff to kind of keep you entrenched in things that you did maybe when you were in high school and college. But we're glad to be associated with the Alabama Sports Festival and the Alabama State Games. And We're going to be shooting a show, kind of giving everybody a behind-the-scenes look of what goes on with this, and it's a massive production. They work on it all year. As soon as this is over this weekend, they'll start working on next year, and they said next year's is going to be maybe the biggest ever with all the things that they have planned and stuff coming in. So that will be interesting.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting just how they've done all of this, and they've done a great job. So
Right.
34 scholarships that are going to be awarded tonight of $42,000, but $400,000 total throughout the years. And this is their 42nd.
I think it's 42nd.
42nd year of doing this. So, I mean, that's awesome.
It is awesome, and we're going to be catching up with a couple of the athletes here in just a little bit after we get off the show, so we're excited about that. All right, a couple more things before we get off here on the Auburn Blitz. Reminder, we'll be back with you on Monday for another edition of our podcast, and we appreciate all of you that have subscribed to our YouTube channel. If you haven't done that already, please go out there and do that and help us spread the word. We are very appreciative of all of you out there. A little basketball. It's never, I mean, we're in an arena. Auburn basketball played in here a couple of years ago. It's never too early or too late to talk about basketball, right? And so yesterday we talked about, actually this morning on the podcast, talked about the ACC SEC challenge matchups that are set coming up this year. Obviously, Auburn played Duke last year, coming off the Maui Invitational win to get back in the 48 states and go up to Durham and play Duke in a really good game. Ended up losing that game, but Duke, of course, gets another home game. But they'll have the defending national champs coming in. Florida will be rolling into Durham this time.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting matchup. I'm excited to watch it. We've got NC State coming to Auburn.
Dude.
So I know you have some thoughts about what could have been done.
Yeah, I mean, you got Virginia going to Texas. How unbelievable would it have been to send the old Cavaliers down to Auburn Arena for a rematch of the
Auburn Arena?
Well, it's still Auburn Arena. It's originally it's Neville, but it's always Auburn Arena. So it's Neville Arena, but the original name was Auburn Arena. I still call it that sometimes. But send the Cavaliers on down to Auburn, Alabama for a rematch of the Final Four from a few years ago.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
How many double dribble signs do you think we would see?
Oh gosh,
in the stands?
We were saying just during the commercial break, we would probably have to be spectators during that game. We'd be not working.
Definitely not working. So, but anyway, as we close out here on the Auburn Blitz, want to remind everybody we'll be streaming the opening ceremonies on our AHSA Radio Network Facebook page here. So make sure you tune it in at 7:00 this evening if you're not able to get to Birmingham to take it in. So we appreciate all of you for tuning in. Again, we'll be back with you on Monday for another edition of the Auburn Blitz podcast. We'll be back on the air tomorrow for Saturday Sports Countdown, me, Randy, and Luke. So for Faith and Sophie over here, I'm Brett saying we've enjoyed it. We hope you have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you next week. All right. And then for everybody on social media, we appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and sign off. I know we stay up a little bit later most of the time, but we're going to go ahead and sign off because we've got to film our show. We've got a lot of work to do here on a Friday. So I appreciate all of you that tuned in, and we'll catch you next time. Thank you so much.